Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our glorious republic. Today, we're going to get designing a new town. We're going to spend some time with ZERNOSKIY today because there really isn't much else to design over in the steel area, at least not yet. All the design is kind of there. It's just a matter of our vehicles and such getting out here to build it, delivering resources, etc. Some of the other things I think I'm going to prioritize today is getting an expansion to helicopter construction, because I think getting an expansion to helicopter construction is, of course, going to get us an expansion to construction in general, which is going to be great. There are a couple of things, though, I did want to point out here. So this is not the end design, of course, right? We have something else that's going to go here. It's a very big building, and I kind of want to go over to the university really quick, and we're going to see right here, road vehicle production line. We're going to have to go ahead and grab that to know exactly how big it is. We're going to need the research to make sure that we can place this. But I imagine we're probably going to end up using about this much space for it. It's pretty big as a building. And then it needs to connect, that place needs to connect to at least this. But I would also like it to connect to this, because this is another source of steel. Okay. And then if it can, I don't think it can, but if it can, I'd like it to maybe possible connect to this. And then so we can gut all this stuff and get the vehicle production line maybe connected to here and here. That way I wouldn't need it connected to here. And then this can serve as another, I don't know, another source of steel somewhere. I'm giving myself options, a little bit of flexibility. I think it'll be all right. But vehicle production line, it's going to go here. And then, of course, the rail in this area here, we're going to kind of corner around this to connect it up to the place where vehicles are going to get stored. We can get them on trains and take them around our republic, right? So that's tentative. At the moment, though, really it comes down to building the initial infrastructure required to get people to work. And I'm thinking probably we'll have this one made first, and then this warehouse needs done, and then all of this stuff here, of course, is prioritized. So we're going to maybe get, you know, a couple of these done, but not all of them done. All the roads, excuse me, all of the roads need done as well. So we're going to obviously work on that. I think for these two buildings here, I'm probably going to go ahead and just have, like, let's say one of them built, right? We don't need everything built all at the same time. We definitely need this done so that we can start shipping out any mechanical components that will be in here. And it is also important that this warehouse accept chemicals, fabric, and plastics, as well as store electronics. And so this is already configured to kind of do roughly what I think we're going to need in this area and to store it and hold it. Anything coming in over here is fine to be brought over into this area too. So steel, for example, getting delivered here can also be trucked over into this area to be used for vehicles exclusively. And then this serves as sort of an overflow so if they're full here, we'll start storing them here. And of course, the trucks can then access it and take it out of here to wherever it needs to go. So this is all sorted out, right? We've done all this. Nothing else much need to do. Nothing else much need to do. Yeah, that's what I said. So this helicopter construction yard has 2 cargo helicopters. All right. Went ahead and bought them. Brand new, because I need them to start working. So I did that. So there you go. 0% wear and tear. About a 10th of a year old. And I have been flattening out this area behind it, at least a little bit. Trying to flatten this out so that I can get additional helicopters in this area. So if I just go into... Well, it looks to me like it's doing it with... I must have been doing it with, like, height from center or something as a tool. Yeah. So I'm going to come out like this. Now, of course, that's going to do something really weird with that dirt road. But the important thing is that a helicopter pad can get behind this. So I have been doing that, too. If I flatten it out enough, we might even be able to get our extra mine in here on a lower ground. But the plan was always to have the road from this side move over to wherever mine it is, and then the resources come down on the belt. But I think we're almost to the point now where I could probably get one of these helicopter pads in here. Probably. Let's see. If I go like this by 3, yeah, it's right there. So if I go in and I say, you are going to be right here, kind of like this. That looks pretty good. Kind of tucks it away back behind this, which is nice. I also want the option, if possible, to be able to use them over here as well. So can I get... Yes, I can get another one right here. That gives me a load of helicopter possibilities right there, which is pretty nice. So we now have access to 8 helicopters in this, which is super good because that means we'll have access then to, I suppose that, 6 extra vehicles to load around and stuff, which is pretty good. So 12 vehicles on this. That seems to be about right. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Am I just wrong on this? It happens once in a while. No, this says there's 12 spots for vehicles total and 2 stations for helicopters. So I'm adding 6 more spots for helicopters for a total of 8. So yeah, 4 extra vehicles will be in here. That's pretty good. I think I'm liking that because we're going to have a lot of resources through here. Mechanical components, electrical components, and steel all comes from this area. And I would kind of like these helicopters to really be focusing on those resources as it goes. Now, you're going to see there's a train problems here, right? And that's always, again, because of track builders. When this train is done messing with this track, we'll finally start getting passengers moving through here again. I probably will have to play around with these trains, stopping them periodically just to kind of spread them out again, because they are not going to be, like right now, they're all just going to be pulling in one right after the other. They don't space out. So I'm going to need to do that. Unless I do a train end station, which could be an option. Getting a train end station might probably be a pretty good idea. But I'd have to do so in kind of a weird location. I guess maybe I could put it like over here, I suppose. Right here. And then as the trains leave, they could refuel if they need to, and then off they go. I mean, that could be an option. Let me see what this would look like. If I use a railway end station, if I put this like right here, for example, then all the trains heading out this way would just stop here first. Well, they'd have to... I actually want it to be over here, I guess, because... yeah, if I did it here, then they'd be stopping on the end station on their way back from steel, which would be... That'd be more advantageous for me, I think. So why don't we just give this as a possibility? We'll pop this in like right here. We certainly don't need the road to be gravel. So we'll just have this be a dirt thing. I'm not really going to prioritize this much at all, so we'll leave that. But I'm just looking at the possibility of spreading out those trains in the future, and I think that'll probably help out a little bit. And then the track from this would then just go right through here like this. Yeah, and then they would just off they go. They leave. I really don't even need this many tracks on there. I could get away with just getting it on this one because they're only coming in from this way. So this is kind of a one track thing here. I could just kind of go like, I guess like this. It needs to come in from both directions. So yeah, like this. And then it kind of comes in like so. That's fine. And then the signals, of course, would then be here and here, not here. Easy. So we'll do that for now, with this one being like that. And then there's really no point in this one being multiple directions. So it's a one-way thing on this, getting where they need to go. Okay. On this side, we can do two-way. That way the trains, they can't get in here anyway doing that. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So they'll build it when they can build it, and that's no big deal. Okay, so I did say we're going to be focusing on ZERNOSKIY today. But I want to just give a recap on what we're doing here too. All right, so if I head over... Oh yeah, we're paving this now too, by the way. This whole thing here is one big project, and this whole thing here is one big project to get us out there as we prep the expansion of Charlebinsk to get out that direction. And then I let this thing mostly build. Looks pretty cool when it's in construction, doesn't it? But then I stopped it because I don't really have a place for those guys to work just yet until I get trains moving through here, which I have the tracks done now. So there is a way to do that, albeit we need to change some of these things around so that the signals, and this is a separate section. So I need to have this be a chain like that, and a clear here is good. and then a chain right here, and a clear. Yeah, like that is good. That will take care of the intersection problems potentially there. That's good. So I could get passenger trains running through here, and then that would give us extra people and a place for them to work. But I'm still concerned about heating. If by adding another one of these, I'm really concerned about heating, so I'm going to wait just a little bit longer. All right, ZERNOSKIY. The design decision around ZERNOSKIY is entirely subjective in that I want a certain style, not a certain level of efficiency or productivity or anything. So I'm looking for the small town America feel. That was kind of where I was going with this. And not even really so much small town as it is, I'm just looking for a more rural, I guess I'll summarize it by saying that, a more rural look and feel. I don't want things to be big, tall towers in the cities. Like this right here is very dense. Compared to ZERNOSKIY, this is incredibly dense. Okay, so I'm looking for something that's a bit more spread out and something that has a look of, you know, the people who are maybe a little bit more well off. They have their own like little plot of land, for instance. They have yards or whatever, and then they also drive their own vehicles. They have their own cars, and they're going to take their own cars to work as opposed to waiting for public transit. We'll probably have a bus stop in here anyway, just one, and then buses can come in here and drop people off potentially. We'll certainly have a bus stop over in this area because we'll need that. And I don't remember actually placing one. Or vehicles depot, parking lot, right. I don't remember placing one. I don't think I did. So the bus stop is still not put in here, but we have, oh, that's our spare cargo station that yeah, I was using that to copy. We don't need that anymore. Okay, so this road needs to come back here, like so, and connect here, like that. And to be honest, this could be where the bus stop is. It really could be. We just pull this walking path back just a little bit. We take this road and connect it like this. All right, maybe not like this. Excuse me. What's going on here? I guess I had to be like that, but that's fine. Okay. And then the walking path, we'll say, is this gravel? Yeah, we're doing gravel here. That's fine. So gravel, connect like that, and then up like that. Easy. And then the bus stop could be situated right over here. It's a really small one. It could even be a temporary one, honestly, if it fits. The temporary one does not fit. I'm pretty sure I can get this in here. All I have to do is kind of fiddle with the walking path a little bit here, so I'll work on that. It's low priority, but I'm pretty sure I can fit it in there, and that allows people to just walk into work. I could also do it over here, but I wanted additional parking over here, potentially, because this building, this repair station, can handle a lot of people. All right, we're going to have 80 workers in here. So if that's the case, this parking lot, right, we're giving space for about 90 people to park here. That's pretty good for just this one building. That should take care of it, honestly. Yeah, so, but if I want to put anything else in this area, then I might need more parking for that. So I'm debating on whether or not I want to put anything else in here. We could, for example, put in some like a refueling area here, or just more distribution offices, which wouldn't take workers. Or we could do something that takes crops to process. For example, I could put some livestock farms in here. They take crops, and crops are everywhere in here. I could just put the livestock farms in here. And if I was to do that, you know, I'd probably put in, I was gonna say they'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, but it doesn't look like there's actually enough room for that unless I get rid of one of these roads. It's entirely possible to do. It would have to be this road though, because this is the one that doesn't have farms coming off of it. But if I did that, then I would be able to fit these in here. Yeah. So, you know, there's possibilities of that. That way I can use the crops that are in here and just kind of have them locally delivered to the farms. And then the people who are parking over here could work in the livestock farms. There's a 50 workers for each one. So I would need 2 of these parking lots for 2 of these, essentially. So, no, I need 3 of these parking lots for 2 of these. Okay, so there's a lot of parking needed if I do that. So it's an option. ZERNOSKIY. 15 minutes in, haven't started to build yet. Let's spend the rest of our time over here. I think just to keep myself focused, I'm going to spend the rest of my time over here. So for ZERNOSKIY, we've got water coming in on this side, and we need to decide first and foremost where all of our life essentials are coming from. So pretty confident that we're going to be dumping our sewage in this body of water. Okay, I mean, it just makes so much sense to do. It would be a nice thing also to get the power from over here routed to connect over here. That way I could stop, buying power here. At the moment, though, we're just going to be buying power from the border to power ZERNOSKIY. And then once we can connect it, maybe as we get the lines around here and maybe we'll get a hub over this way, which allows us to connect. All right. But for now, that's what we're going to do. So our utilities, power is a very easy thing to do here, but probably should at least know where our substations and stuff are going to be placed. So I'm thinking we'll have a substation most likely in this little spot here would be good. Can I fit this right here? Yes, I can. Beautiful. So I'll fit that right there. Get that out of the way. Probably going to want another one over on this side. There's going to be a lot of parking here, so I don't want to get in the way of the parking. But to split the power sources, maybe right here would be okay for this. Yeah, I think this will be fine. So we'll have another one right there. Trying to think of where everything's going to be. Yeah. All right. So those two are fine for now. For the water, we obviously need to process the water, right? We need to process our own water in ZERNOSKIY. So I'm thinking if we can pump it with we're still going to need a large pump or a large well. So that means 7 workers need to be over here. And of course, the closer I go to stuff, the worse it gets. I was thinking about putting a bunch of houses through here, so this well doesn't work very well, but perhaps we design the neighborhoods first and then we'll know where the well can go, because I don't want the quality to drop so much. Well, I could just put it over here. We'll see. Houses. For the houses, let's use dirt roads for now, because I'm not entirely sure of the exact placement of where these roads are going to go, but I would like to kind of around the lake, right? So we have lake houses, people who are, we can pretend that they have boats, right? They have boats on the water and they're having a good time when they're jet skis and things like that. So we're going to say residential areas. We're going with these flats. These are 93% quality flats. They only hold 12 people in them. And what I'm hoping for is we can go out about this far, I think is probably good. And we're going to go right along the water with this. So we're going to say right there. And that's going to be our first house. In these houses, we need parking, okay? There's people living here. They're going to want to drive to work because they're going to have to, because I'm going to make it to where they're driving to work. They're not going to have any other options, at least until maybe we get a bit more developed. And then, sure, a bus route can come through here maybe. But for now, that's what we're going to do. So these small parking lots, these free ones here, I don't really think they have much space for vehicles. But we're also going to situate a few of the free ones here and there for the extras, because there's going to be a little extras. And the reason for that is because the small parking lot with optimized traffic is too big. It's way big. It does 10 vehicles, which is nice, but it's also one-way streets in and out, which is great for the optimized traffic part, but it's just not going to work for my design. So we're going to go with the small parking lots like this, and it's going to be with 6 cars, okay? What I'm hoping to do here, I got to figure this out. What I'm hoping to do here is to have it kind of be like they live in front of their garage, okay? Like it's a little bit, it's going to be a little bit wonky, but we're going to have to make do with the tools we have, right? So work with the tools you got. So right on the parking lot here, I think we're going to go right on the coastline here. We're going to go like, oh, wow. You really won't let me place this here? Okay. I just need to figure out how far away do I have to be from the water, and that is further than I thought. All right. So right there is a parking lot, and then our house is going to be right next to right behind this. Okay. I could go right next to it. I could. Oh, I have a better idea for space savings. All right, never mind. I got this. We're going to say that the house, okay, is like here. All right. And then let's say the road is a little bit further away so that, you know, the driveway has a little bit of length to it. And if we can get the driveway to have a long enough length, then what we could do is we could have the parking lot come off the side of this, right? So there's 12 people that live here. You'd think, okay, well, you're going to need spaces for 12 cars. Not entirely, but yeah, kind of. Okay. So like, I think they can carpool with each other. Like you'll have 4 people in a vehicle on their way to work, 2 people in a vehicle on their way to work. That does tend to happen, right? If they're all going to the same place, they do tend to do that a little bit. So you don't necessarily need a 1-to-1 ratio on parking, but you know, it'd be nice to at least make sure we have the capacity for everybody to be like individualized, right? That's the whole point of this design. So I'm going to kind of, indent it a little bit in like this. That's what I'm looking to do, I think. I don't know if that necessarily saves a lot of space, but we're going to go with it. And then we could also go on the side here too. So each house has space for, I guess, like 12 cars in this way, right? Everybody has their cars kind of in their driveway like this. So that's how we'll design this for now. So if I know that this works like this, then what I'll do is I'm going to pick an area to clone, right? And then with that area cloned now, I should be able to place a bunch of these around this area. Kind of doing something like this. That's what I'm thinking. So there's a lot of space being taken up by very few people, right? And everybody's got their own individualized sort of, you know, car storage and their own places that they can drive out of here with, and their own entry onto the main road that takes them around to wherever they're going. You see the coastline's actually expanding as we place some of these, so that's pretty cool. Giving me a little extra space. I'm all right with that. Doesn't make it look like a nice clean coastline anymore, but you know what? Coastlines are never really super clean like that. We could do it though. I could still go into the tools and do it. So as we come around the bend here, we're going to want to decide where the end of this is. And I'm thinking the end of this is to not get in the way of this this well. So this small water well doesn't like things to be in its path, right? So this is already 94% here, right? So I think probably what we should do is pull these out of here, and we're going to stick a road through here. So as this road comes out, we'll want this road to come over like this, I guess is probably fine. Just angle it. And then it is going to run right alongside on a curve, right alongside all these houses. About like this. And then it's going to wrap up like that and head that way. All right. Going to head, you know, this general direction to keep it away from the wells. Okay. So let's make sure all these connect. We need all of our houses to connect like this. Okay. And they're getting gradually shorter and shorter driveways here as we go, but not everybody's driveway is going to be the same. If you've ever been to a suburbs or, you know, a place with lake houses and stuff, they all have very different little lengths to their driveways. Shouldn't be too sharp of a turn. We should be able to push this in here. We already tested this earlier, so looks like some of them won't do it, so I might have to reposition some of them. Another way to maybe look at it is just to have, in this little gap, we could have had them directly enter onto the road. Some of these might do that. It looks like some of these are too short or too sharp of a turn. So I'll have to reposition them a little bit. No big deal. So the ones that are too sharp, we'll get rid of those right here, and we'll just remake them. Easy. Come over here and we'll say you get made there and there and there. This gives a lot of parking. All right. A lot of parking for everybody. So they have enough to go basically 2 people per car to work with this. So hopefully they'll start carpooling and stuff, and that'd be fine. We are going to have a little bit of extra parking that's kind of in the middle of the whole thing, that if there are any people who don't have parking spaces near their house, they can walk to that structure, walk to that facility or whatever, and be able to get that. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I like that. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to do the other side of the road. Pretty straightforward there. I should be able to just do this again. And if I do it with the road connection, but let me just... It doesn't. Okay. I wasn't sure if it'd let me just pop that in with the road, but it doesn't. Okay, so I need to copy this in such a way that I don't get the road. That is not possible. So I'm going to have to go like this on one of them. There we go. And kind of the same thing. We just kind of come over and we say, okay, you live here, right? And if I want the parking lots to be on the other side, which I don't really think I need that. It might look kind of cool having it be altered like this. So I'm just going to wing it. Go about like this. And probably should line up with these. But yeah, probably should line up with these. Let's maybe have this one be a little bit cocked to the side like that. We could do it. We could do it that way. I don't care. It's going to look interesting. It doesn't have to line up at all. Just have it be kind of out there, right? Now it might be too sharp of a turn for all of these things. I can probably bring it back like this now. Start rounding it around this area. And, you know, I think somewhere around here, let's say right here, we'll have a road that comes through on this side, which takes them into the next part of the neighborhood, right? I'm looking for like American suburbs. If you live in the suburbs, then you kind of, I think you might have a feel for what I'm going for here. And I obviously need to reposition a lot of these things. So the most important part is that the cars can get on the road. And some of these can connect, and some of these are not going to be able to. That's just the way it is. I'm not entirely sure why they're a little bit different, but it's just a little bit of an angle. That's all it is. A difference in angles. So once again, go in, copy the parking lot, and we'll just kind of go like that, and like that, and like almost. Wait. Right. No, I want it on that road. It might be too small for that road. So maybe in this case, we could put it differently. Or I just pull this house back. It's right on the curve of the road, so it's a little bit different than the other ones were. So maybe we'll bring it out about like this instead. Yeah, well, maybe we'll bring it out like this. Kind of like this. Right on the corner. You know, you live on the corner like that, and then you can get the parking lot to be right here. There we go. And then we've got a space right here next to the road that no one really lives in, but guess what? Extra parking. Right? And so this is one of those areas where if there is a shortage somewhere, it will be filled in by this. Okay, cool. Let's go in and do that and get you connected there like that. There we go. And we have our first little area that is, you know, a lot of little housing for everybody in this area. Okay. And this is just one neighborhood. You might be curious, perhaps you're curious, on how many workers this area takes up, right? How many workers are we satisfying here? Satisfying housing for, right? Well, 12 in each one. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 here. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So this is 240 workers. In comparison to how much space this takes up, 240 workers, more than 240 workers fits in this building. So clearly using a lot more space, right? This is why most people don't make neighborhoods like this. But again, I want to do something different with ZERNOSKIY. It just needs to be done. I think something different needs to be done to make it interesting. So on the backside here, we could do a different approach to cars, right? We could maybe do another different approach here if we want to. So we could say that maybe these houses that are on the backside here, we could have them be, let's say 1, and we could start doing it like this. We could say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then the road, right? And then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, light curve, 14, and 15, right? Now, obviously, these guys don't have their parking lots, at least not right now. So if I make this go around like so, curve it a little bit there, and bring it over and hook it up to this road, that's pretty good, right? That would work. Get all these hooked up to the road, because the only connections these really... I mean, I guess I could do these, but what I do wish, though, is that some of these houses did have built-in vehicle storage. I really wish that was a thing, you know? But I guess that's just not... That's not a very Soviet thing to do, I guess? People having their own cars? I don't think that's true. Perhaps for this era. But, I mean... I don't think that's the way it is now. I feel like people have their own cars now. Maybe not a lot of people, but, you know... It's kind of like, you know, urban America is kind of the same way, right? Like, people who live in this dense cities and stuff, you don't really have... A lot of these people really don't have their own cars. And maybe some of that it has to do with expenses, and some of that has to do with just, like, not wanting them, you know? Why do I want one? Pay the insurance and, you know, the maintenance on it. And, like, it's not for everyone. And it's certainly not something that, you know, like my wife and I, for example... We have needed a truck for quite a while for some of the purposes that we're doing, but we don't buy one. We just rent one. When we need a truck, we just rent it. And like, yeah, so maybe it costs us, you know, maybe we have like $200 a month in rental fees, but that's way better than the payment on a brand new one, the debt that's associated with it, the insurance on it would be probably that much anyway, right? So, and there's no maintenance, and it's always in good condition. It's always cleaned. We don't have to clean it. Enterprise is just down the road. We just rent a truck whenever we need it. And if we don't need a truck for like a week or a month or whatever, then we don't need one and we don't have to pay for it. And that's usually a great solution for us. I think if people really looked at their finances and decided like, okay, we need a truck. If they really took a good look at how often do they actually need a large vehicle, right? Like you have it there and it's your convenience, but how often do you really need it? I think you'd find... I think people would find that they don't need it nearly as often as they think they do, and they could get by really easily by just having renting one all the time, and it would cost them less money, and it would still be a nice experience driving a truck, and they would have full, you know, they only have to pay for the gas that they use. They never have to pay for really. Their expenses would be way lower and they'd still have a truck is what I'm saying. So that's what we've decided to do for the last 3 or 4 years here. And I mean, I might end up getting one eventually, just so that I have one on my own and I can say that I have one in that case, but it will never be necessary. So I'm gonna pick a road right here. I'm just kind of deviating from the plan here a little bit, and what I'm gonna do with this area here, since it's a little closer to the city, a little closer to town, maybe we have just slightly more dense here. I'm looking for just a different house design. So maybe this one's 88%. That's not bad. And there's 33 workers there. I think 88% is pretty good. 87% is pretty good. All right, so this is like a little bit more dense housing, right? So if I go something like this, say here, 1 and 2, you know, we can fit a whole bunch of people in this. And then what we do on this side is we'll just have a bigger parking lot here so they can get to work and go and drive. But this is also going to start getting crowded because then a large percentage of vehicles are going to be spawned near the intersection. We don't want that either. So instead of a parking lot here, these guys, maybe they just ride the bus. They can choose to ride the bus, or they can walk to any of these other parking lots. Maybe their vehicles will be stored other places. I don't know. We'll build these houses last so that the people who are flooding into these houses will end up getting control of these parking lots first. That's how I'm going to end up doing that, I think. So in summary, I think I would most likely have something like a bus stop be right here. And then that would have its own road too, so it doesn't interfere with the cars' roads. So something like this would be what we do there. And then the walking paths for this, we can connect these up, hopefully, or not. So let's do this in a way where we can. We'll go forward with this house. Got right here. There we go. We don't really need the road connection, but I'm going to use it anyway because it's all about looks to me. This neighborhood, it's all about the looks. Right about here should be able to line up that walking path. And if I can do that, what I'm hoping happens is it will allow us to pass through. They do pass through, right? I'm trying to remember if that's even a thing. Thought I remember them passing through. No, you're not going to let me connect this? You are a jerk, aren't you? There he goes. It looks silly, but yeah, it looks silly, but I can do something like this and then maybe like this. That's fine. That'll get them into the bus stop later on. Okay, so first neighborhood, kind of like this, right? Now, what about these guys? They don't have parking lots now, right? Well, we'll put it on the other side. So in this case, we'll have facilities through here that these guys can go to that are fun, right? So we want things that they can go to like schools, for example, need to be within walking distance of all these guys, classrooms, etc. So all that stuff gets to be over in this neighborhood too. And then so with that, we have bigger parking lots on this side that allow people to also go to work here too. So what we'll do is we'll say that we want city infrastructure. We're looking for the kindergarten. And I think given the number of people that are here, we can probably deal with a small one, right? We put a small one. Let's say this road continues on this direction. Put the parking lots in here actually first. That way I know how much room I have. And for this, we're going to take maybe the medium ones. We could do the optimized traffic ones, I suppose. It's just an extra 2 cars, but it would work pretty well, I think. So we could do an extra 2 cars. We'll have one goes like this. And then we have one that goes on the back side like this. And then over like this. Let's say. That's probably fine. And then we'll have another one that maybe comes over on this side. And then maybe another one that goes over like this. So obviously a lot of cars can be parked over here too. So if there's any shortage in any of these, then they'll have this. Plus these guys can have personal cars later too. They'll be able to walk over to one of these parking lots. So with this done, we'll have this road will go this way, and this road will come through here, of course, like that. A little bit. I don't know if I like that curve, but I don't think I have a choice. Maybe one way or the other, so might as well come off the same intersection. Yeah, so it comes about like that. And then maybe straight down that direction. So hook up the parking lots like that. Here we go. And then on this side, go back to our smaller houses. And we'll just have you here, here, and right next to it here. And then over on this side, we'll go here, here, and here. All right, there we go. So then in this area, we have lots of services, like I said. So we can use a pub, for example. Maybe people want to have a place to drink. We could do that, right? And of course, it doesn't look like we're able to reach very many houses with this, and that's because everything is mud roads. When I get all the roads done, then it will be a lot better. And we're going to do that by basically disconnecting all the roads. We're just making sure they work right now, but I'm going to disconnect all of them so that these are all one sets of roads, these very, very few jobs. And then I'll asphalt the whole thing, and then everybody will just live through here. I can also gravel the whole thing, but if I gravel it, I may not be able to get to where I'm walking, to where part of me actually thinks it'd be a good idea. And this would be very wealthy, suburban kind of thing. Probably the roads that have the sidewalks and lights would be reasonable through this too. So I might overspend because that's what we do in these white picket fence areas. So we overspend on everything. It's stupid. So let's take it, maybe put a cinema over on this side. Be okay, I think, for the cinema. This should be something that's more centrally located. Never mind. These are essentials, the things that people have to walk to. That's what this is supposed to be. So the kindergarten seems like a good fit here. 120 kids should be enough for this little area. There really isn't all that many people. So I think 120 kids is fine here. You put a kindergarten right there. Like that. And then we'll put in a school. Again, 156 may not be enough, but I'm going to go with it. It's a small town school kind of thing. So we'll do that. Right about here, we can put a school behind this. I could even have it be this way instead. Leave more room for the walking path there. Yeah. And then behind this, we put a whole bunch of like touristy stuff. Like you could put a carousel back here, something fun for people to do, right? Maybe out like this. That's fine. And then we have like we don't want any restaurants or anything that are gonna let people. A gallery of art, all that stuff should be in there. Carousel's fine to be out here though. Outdoor pool, right? Places where people can do sports and stuff definitely should be over here. So I'm thinking maybe this football playground would be cool. Basketball and volleyball court would be awesome actually right here. So we'll put this behind the school. Seems pretty good. Actually, it would work better here. Because then you could say that this is like, you know, this belongs to the school, right? The school's basketball court and stuff. So that makes a lot more sense. And then the beaches, it's just like maybe we could put this over here, you know, something for a beach for these guys to hang out in and have fun in. So we could do something like that. And then another beach over here. I was really hoping it'd fit here, but it doesn't. It's okay. I think we can get away with it being, or not. Oh, it's not enough room. Oh, this thing is really space hungry. Yeah, man. Jeez. Nom nom. Okay. Well, it doesn't want me to do that. We have a beach over there. I guess we can have people driving through there. That's fine. There's going to be a lot of cars through here anyway. We're going to need, speaking of which, a lot of cars. We're going to want another path that goes this way. And hooks up on that side like that. And then you are going to connect there, and you are going to connect here. There we go. And then you're going to connect here. There's lots of ways in, lots of ways out, right? And then we can get hopefully get this road to maybe come out like this and then over like that. And then it wraps around and hooks up to this road here. And then for this beach, I do need to see what the quality of this water is now because I'm getting a little bit closer to this. It shouldn't have been reduced too much. Remember, all these were 95, so this one might be 94. If it's hooking into the main line for both of these, they're all being joined into one source of water, then I wouldn't think that would matter too much to the cows and stuff. So I don't think they're gonna care. Of course, we need water hookups and everything in this area too. We've left little gaps and stuff for that. So this right here, we have a lot of different connections there. This water could totally be hooked up right here. And I think it's gonna come from over there, the water. Maybe I could maybe get away with it maybe being have it over here. Possibly. There's gonna be pollution out this way, so I don't know about that. Probably should just put the well over on this side. Let's plan on the well having the pipes come from this direction. We'll say that all of this is hooked up to water. Yep, right there. Like this. And then we want the sewage too. So sewage is gonna go this direction. Yep, that way. And everybody should be hooked up to that too. Yep. Total coverage of everybody right there. There we go. And so we'll get that hooked up like this. That's fine. Maybe getting a walking path to go between houses. We have that frequently too. It's like a sidewalk that goes between houses could be okay here. And then to make that happen, we could go between this, hopefully. Yep, that's fine. Sure, if you insist. There we go. And then from this side, we probably don't. Yeah, it does let me do it. That's pretty good. We'll have a walking path that goes between these houses and pops out over here. Oh, it does pop out here. That's actually pretty cool. All right, I'll take that. Yep. That gets them all the way over there. Nice. And then, like, you get little paths which provide shortcuts, right? You get little kind of paths where, like, if these guys want to walk over there, they shouldn't have to walk all the way around. They can cut through another path somewhere, right? So maybe I could have. This is pretty tight right here. I might want to redo that, but this right here looks like it'll allow passage. Yeah, we can get passage through here, and then hopefully I can hook it up somewhere. Doesn't look like it. Maybe not even from this road, huh? Really? Wow. Yeah, it does not. We'll have to look at it. I mean, it's I can play around with different positions and stuff to make this happen. It's not the end of the world. I don't need you guys. You guys don't need to be in all the little meticulous detail parts. You guys are mostly looking for, I think, the macro and how things are going to work, right? So this gives us one suburban neighborhood. We're going to do a smaller scale version of this over in this side and over on this side here. And then also over here in this area. A smaller scale version of that even over here near the border too. And so as we want to expand ZERNOSKY, if it needs additional expansion, then we just put little neighborhoods all over the place. All through here too even, right? As long as it's not getting polluted. And then it's all cars moving through here, which means we're going to need this highway also done eventually, because there's going to be little neighborhoods all through this area. Small town, right? We spread out a lot. Small town America spreads out a lot. And that's just how we do it. I think as far as sewage dumps go, we have the beach here, so it wouldn't make much sense to dump the sewage here. I feel like maybe I dump it over here. We could send big pipes all the way over here again and leave this clean. You know, we could do it. We could leave it clean. There was also somebody else that said if I terraform this, can I do that on the outside? It looks like it'll let me do that. So somebody said if I was to lower the land over here and I lowered it enough to get all the way out to the edge over here, that I would then be able to ship, right? Because we have got water out this way and we just need our ships to be able to reach this, and then you can ship places. And so if that's the case, I may turn this into, potentially it could turn into like a little neighborhood where we can bring in passengers and tourists and stuff, and we could have, you know, like a tourist city here, have a bunch of culture and all that. And you know, it's kind of like not all touristy destinations are, you know, really high density. There's actually a lot of, you know, one near me I would say would be like Mackinac Island is near me. That's a touristy place. People come over there all the time to learn a little bit about history, and it's a kind of a unique island in that they don't allow cars to be on it. Unless, of course, you work on the island. Emergency vehicles and things like that are allowed to be there. But mostly it's like horses and buggies and stuff still. And, you know, it's really small cobblestone street kinds of things. And people just, you walk everywhere, and they make great fudge. But it's a touristy destination that's not very dense. And so that's one example I have. Another one, I guess, would be Traverse City. Near, again, Michigan, right? I'm from Michigan. Traverse City would be another one. Holland, Michigan would be another one. Where it's not that dense, not that urban, but it's still a touristy destination, especially in the fall, or is it the spring? I think it's the spring. Yeah, where the tulips. So like April and May, they have what's called the Tulip Festival, and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of tulips are growing in Holland, and they all sprout up, and you can just walk around and see them. That's basically the long and short of what the Tulip Festival is all about. I'm going to put this vehicle over here so that it can get repaired. And so yeah, we could maybe do that. If I just open this up, spend some time offline to just open that up to allow shipping through here, I can bring in passenger boats, and we could say that passengers from other countries are being ferried into ZERNOSKY, and we could have a whole bunch of stuff coming through here that's very touristy in nature. I'd be open to that. That sounds like a cool idea. Just make it unique. I don't want it to be the same as every other city, right? So anyway, this is the design premise, right? And how we get people to their destinations. Lots of cars, and they're all going to be moving themselves through here. So obviously all of this gets to be asphalt, and you know, I just have a lot of road paving to do. As far as the urban areas though, they still need all their basic services, and that's what this O'Keen supermarket was for, right? And so we're going to have parking lots through in this area, and then we also need the basics of coverage. And what I mean by that, I guess, is state infrastructure. We need fire stations. So we'll have a fire station. I'm going to put it right here on this side, and I'm choosing this side because this is eventually going to be one-way roads, and this is going to allow us to have our fire trucks instantly get on this road and head out towards the farms if they need to do something with the farms. But it's also close enough to everything else to where it can get in and respond to things too. And so we'll have a road, asphalt of course, going across this way and then straight this way too. And we'll leave this asphalt here, and we'll have the fire department connect there. I think that's probably pretty good. Although I think gravel's fine here. And the reason for that is because these trucks are definitely not going to get up to speed in time to like take advantage of the asphalt roads. So I can have gravel coming out of the building. That's no big deal. We're also going to want this to all be asphalt around here as well. And then this section here needs to be asphalt too. So I have a lot of different, you know, I have a lot of roads to do, basically. All of this stuff needs to be done for the asphalt. These roads here need to be done. I did start one of these. I thought I'd started them. Doesn't look like I did. I did gravel this part. Oh, it was over here, I think. This. I started getting asphalt through here. You know, so that's already started. It's very modular in the sense that I have to... I don't know if modular is the right word, but there's basically lots of... It's very sectiony. I'm doing little sections at a time on an ongoing basis rather than making it one big project. And I realize that some people have said that's way slower, but I think it's kind of all the same. It's still moving resources to a certain destination. It's still having to have trucks there and design things. And then when they're not doing the longer part of the section, like they get done with that shorter section, they still go off and work on other things. So is it longer for the road? Yeah, it takes longer for the road to do that. But I don't think it necessarily takes longer for construction on a grand scheme of things, if you look at the macro of that, because they're still going off and doing other things while they're waiting for the next section of road to be marked. But again, the main reason why I did that is because I did not want to close access to any roads while I was doing it. And this is now done, so I can go ahead and do this as well. There we go. I can do that. And then, of course, this is all asphalt all the way out to coal now. The coal power plant, this is asphalt. So I got that done. So now I can start. Because this is done, I can now work on these sections here. And I do every once in a while. If it's not going to harm anything, which in this case, I mean, it may cut off supply to getting the waste in here, but that's not really that big of a deal. So I think what I'll do is I'll cut this road, right? And then cut this road. Cutting that road was a big mistake, actually. Yeah, cutting that road was a big mistake because now I have to destroy this in order to get the road back in. It's not going to let me... You can't take a road across a walking path, so that was a big mistake. So I will need to now destroy this. That's my bad. But on the plus side, we can now have this be all one job for our road construction crews to come in and do. And so we'll have road construction crews go and do that now too. So yeah, that's the design premise around ZERNOSKIY. I'm going to go ahead really quick, and we're already 50 minutes into the video, so I think we're kind of running out of time here. But I will place parking lots and other structures and stuff. The one last thing I did want to talk about was heating, because heating is always potentially a little bit of a problem. And for heating, I was going to put the heater right here. So we have kind of a terrain thing going on with the train tracks. We're going to have to get creative with how the train tracks are going to flow through here, because they absolutely need to flow through here. But I was thinking the heating plant could go right here. It's short. It's close enough to where I can get things into this. It's close enough-ish to where I can heat a few homes in here. Can't go real dense here, because it's really far away from the heater, but I could do it. And then as we expand this way, they're expanding closer to the heating plant, so it's nice. And as we come out this way, maybe through Cure Rush here, that heating plant could possibly still provide heat to this way. And then if we also get houses and buildings and stuff out closer to these tracks, it could also help supplement heat there. So there's a lot of potential for a heater to be if I get it like kind of near this area. So I was thinking either over here, kind of closer to the hill, or over here. And again, people are just going to drive to work anyway, so it won't matter. And then for buses, it's a little bit weird for buses because you're never going to have a full plant. You're never going to have a full manufacturing plant if you rely entirely on personal cars, because they reserve their parking space. They reserve their work slot when they leave their home, not when they arrive. And so you have basically an empty slot in the work zone that cannot be filled because the car that's going to fill it is on its way. And that's kind of why if you rely entirely on personal cars, you'll never have a full place. But as long as you're providing enough heat, you're fine. You can supplement that by just having a bus stop nearby and one bus. And that way those people will get off on any available spaces that are there as soon as they're available, but they won't be able to work in any space that's reserved. So you're still going to have a problem with that. But that's why we're doing it with a small town first, to get a feel for it. And then we're going to activate it for all these guys once we start making our own cars, right? Because these guys are going to have personal cars once we start making our own cars. For ZERNOSKIY, I'm going to purchase the cars, and everyone will have basically foreign cars here, and everyone else will have domestic cars later on. Okay, so fire department here, and then the police station, I was thinking, is probably going to be closer. It's a small one. It doesn't need to be very big. So where the heck did it go? Right here. So small police station, I was thinking could be on this side of the road over here, like this. We don't have a whole lot of police necessary over in this area, so it really doesn't matter. If we have unreported crimes on the single repair shop, then okay, maybe we'll go ahead and put a little police station over here too, whatever. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. The main thing for this police station, it needs to cover ZERNOSKIY, and then the meat and stuff over here too. And so for that, you know, we can put it right here. And the reason why I'm choosing these specific locations is because this is where our crossings are for the roads. So we end up with crossings able to go straight out from where these guys are, and they can meet up with these roads over on this side. Like this. So now we have sort of our grid, in a way, kind of started here, right? Through there. And then there's also, you know, there's kind of deviations here. As we add more buildings and stuff, we'll have roads that kind of come through as like side roads. They'll come through here too. So we definitely need that. We can do gravel on that spot, but we'll wait until the roads are done first. So lots of roads that need to be done. So between now and the next video, I am going to queue up all these roads to start getting constructed and start getting worked on. That seems to be a really good project for pretty much everybody here. So I can just get rid of all these, right? We already know that based on their current positioning and stuff, they will connect. And that was what I needed to know. And then once I get all these roads disconnected, I can then have all of this become asphalt so that they can get to their destination. And yeah, we can have this be a one-way street even. If we wanted to help the flow of traffic even more, we could have this be a one-way street, and then this could be a one-way street in this direction. And so they all come out like that, or vice versa. We could have them, you know, maybe come through here and then come out that way. It doesn't really matter. The whole point is that the traffic will flow because of like using one-way streets. So we could do that too. If it becomes a problem, we'll definitely just switching that on is a really easy thing to do. So okay, so all the roads are disconnected. I'm pretty sure I've gotten rid of most of the points here. I just have to kind of maybe go in and just little bits of walking paths and stuff that are still connected like this. So let's kind of pull those back, and then the idea is to get rid of all these little purple nodes, except the ones that come at actual intersections, and then that leads to us having as few of jobs as possible for road construction crews to have to handle. So we'll do that and that. Still walking path right there. Yep. We'll do that right there. And I think now we're ready to go ahead and mark in for road construction and get all this stuff to be just asphalt the way it's supposed to be. So yeah, so we'll go ahead. I think we'll do this. So this is the 87%, right? 87% walking speed, which I think is good enough because it doesn't provide, we don't have to put in the other walking paths. But if I wanted to beat that, of course, just put asphalt walking paths. So the footpaths through here, we might do asphalt or asphalt with the lights. And then that would give us the maximum amount of like foot traffic into all these areas, especially with kindergartens and stuff being here and additional parking being there. So we'll probably do that then. But I think I am going to splurge a little bit on this neighborhood and do the ones with the street lights all through here and have all of these roads be that way. There we go. Not this one, and probably not these ones, but you know, anywhere where people are probably going to use it to walk to places. Like over here, I don't think this is, I guess, the school, isn't it? Yeah. All right, to the school is fine. And then after that, this will all just be like regular asphalt roads on this side, because I want people to be able to drive quickly to get into these areas. And then if I want to prioritize certain roads over others, right, then what I would do in that case is I could make, like, for example, this one could be gravel instead of asphalt, and then people are less likely to drive on this road unless they have to get where they need to go. So so that might be actually one way to do this road here, this gravel road. It might be one of those ways where if people are coming through here and they want to get to their house that's maybe over on this side, I could kind of encourage them to go down this road instead to get there. And then and they would only go on this gravel road if they live on this area here. So we could, this design probably doesn't work that way because I've kind of did it in sort of a curvy grid. But we could maybe implement that somewhere else and see how that works. But, you know, ways to control traffic in that sense. So, but in this case, we're just going to have everything asphalt. No big deal. I don't care. And that one too. Why not? And then this one will connect later. And that means this needs to be asphalt as well. So there we go. And yeah, so all this stuff needs to get paved. And that's what we're going to be working on. So between this video and the next video, we'll have, I think, a lot of progress done on the roads out this way. I'm gonna get most of my road crews to just come out and have all these as a job, and they can start on these kind of whenever they can get to it, I suppose. They have got a lot of roads to do though, so they've already started on it. Like I just marked this, and it's already got some of the resources delivered, so that's good. All right, so that's gonna do it for this video. We got fire, we got the police, we got all these guys here. I'll probably put a small clinic probably right here that people can walk to and everything, so they can get healthcare without having to drive to it. We'll put like a little clinic in every neighborhood. Probably a good idea to do that. So just like localized clinics instead of, you know, like an urgent care. I don't know if, again, I don't know where you're from, but we have like a place called urgent care, and it's a very small clinic. It's just walk in, you get treatment, and you pay a boatload of money for someone to tell you that you just need rest and water, pretty much. But in any case, we'll probably do that for healthcare coverage for everybody. Okay. So that's it for now. Come on back for the next one. These roads will be done, and we can start seeing a little bit about how this stuff will work out. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye.